Salmon and aquaculture have been a key industry in Norway since the 1970s. The first farm-raised salmon in Norway was slaughtered as early as 1971, and today more than half of the world's farmed salmon is produced in Norway. Each year, the Norwegian salmon industry produces around 5 billion portions of salmon, which are enjoyed all over the world. The cold, clear waters in Norway provide optimal conditions for salmon production, and through many years of experience, we have built up the expertise to produce the very best salmon. But how exactly do we do it? Broodfish and egg production. Just like in nature, farmed Norwegian salmon begin their lives in fresh water. It all starts in broodstock centres on land. A broodfish is a sexually mature fish used to breed new generations of fish. We use advanced technology and analyses to carefully select our broodfish and ensure the quality of our salmon right from the egg stage. Eggs are taken from the female broodfish, and semen is taken from the male and mixed in to fertilize the eggs. Each female salmon can lay up to about 20,000 eggs, and each male can fertilize as many as 3 million. That means one male fish can fertilize the eggs of around 150 females. After about a month and a half under controlled light and temperature conditions, the fertilized eggs are moved to a hatchery where they can hatch and further develop. Fry. There are essentially two types of hatchery: flow-through hatcheries, which are continuously supplied with new fresh water, and RAS hatcheries, in which water is recirculated. The eggs hatch at the hatchery, and they develop here for another 10 to 11 months. After hatching, the salmon has a little sac on its belly, which is packed full of nutrients. The salmon lives on this for the first 4 to 6 weeks. During this stage, the salmon is known as a yolk sac fry. When the yolk sac is used up, the salmon will need to start eating, and so it will be moved to a larger freshwater tank. At this stage, the salmon is about 2 to 3 centimeters long and known as a fry. They eat special feed in pellet form. This is usually made from a mix of marine and plant-based ingredients. The composition and size of the feed will change as the salmon grows to adapt to its changing nutritional needs. As the fry grows, it will also change its appearance. It will get distinctive finger marks on its sides and become what is known as a par. At this stage, the salmon is now robust enough that it can be moved to an even bigger tank. Smolt. After 10 to 16 months in fresh water, the salmon now needs to prepare for a life in salt water. This huge transformation is called smoltification. Smolt is the name used for young salmon that are ready to go from fresh to salt water. When salmon develop from par to smolt, their appearance changes, and the smolt looks more like the salmon fish we recognize. The smoltification process can be controlled via light and temperature regulation. As the temperature rises and daylight hours get longer, hormone production is stimulated and smoltification begins. Smolts vary in size, and many breeders aim to produce larger smolts to reduce their time at sea. This also affects production time in the hatchery. Before the salmon is moved out to sea, it is vaccinated against many diseases. The development of effective vaccines has almost eliminated the need for antibiotics in Norwegian salmon farming. Mature fish. The salmon are transported to sea cages by well boats, which are specially designed to transport live fish. The salmon will continue to grow out here over the next 14 to 22 months. The cages are comprised of at least 97.5% water and max 2.5% fish, so the salmon have plenty of space. This stage is more unpredictable than the earlier stages. Challenges can occur, such as salmon lice, which are natural crustaceans that live in the water. The lice attach to the salmon and feed on their mucus, skin, and blood. Limits have been established for lice, meaning that all fish farms are legally obligated to count and report lice numbers to the authorities each week. Work is ongoing to develop new methods to prevent lice outbreaks and to delouse fish. For example, AI has made it possible to develop lice lasers, which have proven to work well. The salmon is a cold-blooded animal, and so it uses little energy to warm itself up. What's more, salmon expend little energy when swimming. This means that farmed salmon utilize their feed much better than most other sources of animal protein. Producing 1 kilogram of salmon only requires around 1.2 kilograms of feed. Feed is usually transported out in feed barges and then into the cages via hoses, where it is distributed evenly via feed spreaders. Feeding is usually controlled from an onshore operations center where staff work at all times to optimize the feeding process and make sure the fish get the food they need, with as little waste as possible. In addition to controlling the feeding, the operations centers are also responsible for monitoring. Using underwater cameras, they monitor the salmon's behavior and watch for holes in the nets. They also monitor oxygen levels, water temperature, and currents. The operations centers are also important for the safety of those working at the facility. Between each production cycle, farms are legally required to live fallow for a period of at least 2 months. Fallowing means that the farming facility may not be used for a time to ensure a good environment and good water quality. Samples are regularly taken from the seabed underneath to ensure that conditions there are good. The aquaculture industry is in constant development. The most common production method today uses traditional facilities with open cages, which sit protected from the wind and the elements inside the fjords. Other methods used include closed and semi-closed facilities, cages located further out at sea, and even onshore facilities where the entire production process takes place on land. There are many other areas that could be highlighted when talking about the industry's development, such as the electrification of fish farms, wellboats, and feed barges, which helps to considerably reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Circularity and the optimal use of materials are also examples of focus areas. Technology and innovation are both central concepts to the industry's sustainable development, and thanks to the good collaboration between salmon farms, suppliers, research institutions, and the authorities, Norwegian salmon farming is today considered one of the greenest forms of animal protein production. Slaughter and processing. 2 to 3 years after hatching, the salmon weighs between 4 and 6 kilos and is ready for slaughter. Typically, salmon are transported live by wellboat to the slaughterhouse, where they are stunned and then quickly killed. They are then gutted and carefully sorted by size and quality. The salmon are packed in ice or sent on for further processing. Now the salmon are ready to be enjoyed all over the world. Norwegian salmon is healthy, tasty, and very versatile. Compared with other sources of animal protein, it is also a climate-friendly choice. It is perhaps no surprise that it is many people's favorite fish.